People go misty-eyed about the golden age of steam. Most of us, of course, think of trains, not Robert J. Hill of Netherbrowton, or Netherborton, in Leicestershire.
Netherborton, yeah. No, RJ, as he's affectionately known, also by us, is the owner, and the proud owner indeed, of a steam car, a 1921 Stanley Steamer, to be correct.
And this weekend he's off on a bit of a trip from Land's End to O Groats. It was the first time in 102 years that a steam car has made the journey, which should take a week. Fingers crossed. Mike Mears has more.
That's oil.
If you had this much steam coming out from under your bonnet, you'd be worried. But RJ Hill is going full steam ahead.
I just like to get the oil circulating before we take off. Okay. That's fine.
Running on paraffin, it only takes 10 minutes or so to raise a good head of steam. Once it's thoroughly warmed up,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
the wheels turned over to get the oil going.
That's it. Perfect, perfect, perfect.
It chocks away.
Okay, stand by. Everything's fine. Water level's down there, that's okay. Pressure's increased to 350. So boiler pressure going up nicely.
Travelling at about 30 to 40 miles per hour, the Stanley Steamer is a match for other cars produced around that time, and it does about 12 miles per gallon.
That's now 100%. So if I were to, I'll give you a little demonstration. You see the acceleration, you see it?
Its other big advantage is that it's very quiet. Usually.
Now that's the boiler relit. Do you hear her? She's really enjoying it. Sign of a happy burner. You see the tremendous advantage of steam. There's no gears, no clutch, no magneto, no carburettor. This is definitely the car of the future.
He leaves O Groats on Sunday morning and should be travelling through the East Midlands on Wednesday. Reliability permitting, Mike Mears, East Midlands Today, Leicestershire.
Gorgeous.
Just reignite the old boiler, as we say.
Rings in your ears, that does. Did you say another word about that?
I was just going to say...
You could just see it, tempting fate.
You would have to be very confident, I was going to say, of your riveting, of your rivets, because otherwise you could end up in very hot water, couldn't you, Mark?
I haven't a clue what you're talking about,
Yeah,
Dominic, but I think we'll
move
on very quickly and get you out of...
Now then, do you remember Robert J. Hill? Of course you do. We met up with him and his steam car last week as he prepared to drive his vintage old boiler from O Groats to Land's End.
Steady on. Well, RJ, as he's known, is now more than halfway through his 900-mile journey. Mike Mears has been following his progress.
And they're off.
Cheerio, cheerio.
Robert Hill and his wife Sandra are setting off from O Groats to Land's End in an old car. But it's not just any old car, it's a 1921 Stanley Steam Car.
Now, I'm not going to touch the regulator. You see, it's tempting to open the regulator. But to operate a steamer, the best thing to do is to leave the regulator and let the steam expand. Now, we'll just see what happens. I haven't touched the regulator. We're slowing up a little bit, but I'm not using any more steam. Boiler pressure's up to 450. And we'll just let the car slow down, go up the hill at its own speed. Whoa there! The horse is enjoying it. Oh, they love that.
This first section has a lot of hills, up and down. These hairpins are a real test of the old car's brakes. Some were even water-cooled to prevent them catching fire. But going uphill really uses a lot of water, a gallon every 2 miles, and soon it's time to top up.
Well, we're just stopping, put on some water. I've got some spare water in the back.
Soon Sandra's filled her up, and it's time to hit the road again.
Okay, relight.
Such a distinctive car is bound to attract attention. Even the local police are curious.
Goodness me, I really should go and get the traffic for this one, because I don't think they'll ever have stopped a steam car before. All right.
But thank you for your help with that.
No, thank you. No, thank you for the enlightenment. Cheers.
One of the striking features of travelling in Scotland are the bridges. this one over the Murray Firth, and this the Forth Road Bridge.
This must be the first Stanley steamer ever to cross this bridge. Well, now that's an experience. Forth Bridge in a Stanley steamer.
So why are they doing it?
We're breaking the record of Hubert Wingfield Egerton and his driver Perkins. They created this record in 1901 in December, and it was the last time a steam car has done Land's End to John o' Groats. So this is the first time in over 100 years it's been attempted. And so far we've beaten the record very well indeed. Whether we continue to do so is another matter.
And when I left them, they were heading south on the A68 for England and the record books. Mike Mears, East Midlands Today, Scotland.
And in fact, we've just heard they have arrived back in Leicestershire, so they're about halfway there.
Excellent.
They are fantastic, though.
They're great. Now, as motoring records go, this might not seem like an amazing feat.
But a couple from Leicestershire have grabbed a title that has stood for 102 years.
Yes, they've just driven from John o' Groats, way up at the top of Scotland. Of course, more than 850 miles to Land's End, which is the bit where Cornwall sort of ends suddenly in the Atlantic.
Thanks for telling us
That's all
that,
right.
Dom. That was kind of you. Now, it's a repeat of the drive completed back in 1901 by, this is wonderful, Hubert Wingfield Egerton and his driver, Perkins.
Well done, the pair of you. They took, our duo took 12 days in their 10-horsepower, steam-powered car.
Yeah, but Robert Hill and his wife Sandra did the trip in just 6, as Mike Mears reports.
Departure and arrival.
Cheerio! Cheerio!
Just over a week ago, Robert and Sandra Hill set off from John o' Groats for Land's End in their steam car. Well, this weekend, they arrived after 6 days' hard drive.
Almost 900 miles of steaming in a Stanley steam car just totally proves the... it's down here, isn't it? That it's the absolutely the ideal touring car. For effortless cruising, complete silence.
Keep coming, keep coming.
Having got there, of course, you need a picture to show you've been there.
Right, stop!
Well, I can just do it from here. With the front, we've got a fill-in flash to get rid of the shower.
Yes,
and we're just in, we're just barely in.
That's a beautiful photograph.
So what would you like on the signpost?
What?
That's looking very nice. Right, look at the camera.
Hooray! Stanley steam cars, forever. Careful. There'll be no pop in this one, I can tell you. I'm going to get the thing out very slowly. I prefer to drink the bubbles rather than spray them about. I've got it, I've got it. This is the car of the future. This is the future. It's more ecologically friendly. It doesn't use up the world's resources. It's in every way to be recommended. Here's to the Stanley Steam Car.
Mike Mears, East Midlands Today, Land's End.
Oh, well done.
Indeed. When you get to Land's End, it's a bit of a disappointment. Have you ever been there?
No.
It's just that pointy sign and a bit of coastline. Oh, and a tea shop, inevitably.
Well, what would you expect?
I don't know, something grander.
It's a bit more grand.
Yeah,
more
well,
grander.
there you are. Well
Yeah.
done for reaching it anyway.
Now, not wishing to brag too much, but the heat wave we predicted is here, isn't it?
Sorry,
It is
yeah.
here.
The burning question is,